The Avengers have themselves a brand new base of operations, but will it be enough to save them from Kang's prophecies of doom? Well, let's hop into the pages of Avengers issue number 7 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the book, a strange narrator is regaling us with a very familiar story. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but lo, there came a day like no other, wherein the Earth's mightiest heroes were all united to try and stop the end of the world, only this isn't a day like any other, because today is apparently the day that the Avengers fell from grace. Now already, if you're eagle-eyed like me, you've probably picked out some inconsistencies with this story right away. Mainly that many of the costumes are all wrong. Carol is wearing her Miss Marvel suit, which she hasn't in years. Black Panther has his cape back, which he hasn't had in even longer. Iron Man isn't wearing his stealth armor. Thor is actually wearing his truly terrible armored belly shirt from the 90s, which is probably the most glaring fashion crime on display here. Of course, this is all to try and communicate to the audience that the world and events we're seeing right now aren't 100% right, and in fact that feeling is only ratcheted up more as one by one the Avengers all die in battle. Jed MacKay actually really ends up flexing his flowery dialogue muscles here as he explains in great detail how the Avengers all go to meet their final end, while also giving them fun archetypal nicknames on top of their own superhero code names. Black Panther is the king who says a silent prayer to the tiger god only for it to fall on deaf ears. Iron Man is the inventor who summons up all of his weapons of war, his first love at the bitter end. Thor is of course the god, Wanda is the witch, Captain America is the icon, which I like a lot, and Captain Marvel is the star. You might also be thinking to yourself, hey, why didn't the Vision get a fun name? Well, that's because the Vision isn't here right now. Curiouser and curiouser. Why would the robot not be with his team right now? As the Avengers all die in their big final climactic battle against a terrifying creature from beyond the darkness of space who undoes all the rules of physics just with his very existence. Eventually, in the end, only Scarlet Witch is left. She's naturally horrified about this turn of events, but then something very strange and unexpected happens. You see, Wanda is actually able to hear the voice of the narrator who's been talking this whole time. Turns out the mysterious string puller behind this dark and twisted turn of events is actually none other than Nightmare. On one hand, this is good because that means everything we've seen up until now has just been a bad dream, but on the other hand, it's also terrible because it means the Avengers are all stuck inside one of Nightmare's dream worlds. And just because they're not dead now doesn't mean they won't ultimately be dead eventually. If nothing else though, Scarlet Witch is able to free herself from Nightmare's control and come to inside the Impossible City, aka the Avengers' new sentient base of operations. It seems that everyone on the base is currently asleep right now except for the Vision, who is all busted up. Only here's the rub though, Nightmare didn't do that to him. Vision actually ended up coming under attack by Myrden and his Twilight Court. They're using the Earth's mightiest hero's little nap as an excuse to sneak inside their base and kill their most hated enemy Kang while the getting's good. Which officially means as the comic comes to an end, the Avengers are boned both in the real world and the dream world. And so that was Avengers issue number 7, everyone, and overall I thought this issue was fine, just fine. We have seen so many different takes on the whole heroes must battle, a dark dream or their worst fears. It's basically a trope unto itself at this point, but it feels like no writer, no matter how good, has actually bothered to add anything new or interesting to this type of story in years. That's not to say the story is particularly bad or anything, it's just that it did knock my socks off. I did like the fun little deep cuts with the costumes as a nice little hat nod to the fact that this wasn't the real world we were seeing. It's also kind of interesting to note that this is the most this brand new Avengers team has fought side by side in the MacKay era, and they've only done so in a dream so far. How about that? It's also nice to see Myrden and the Twilight Court already starting to get involved with the story and mess with the Avengers. I assumed we were going to have to wait way longer for that storyline to eventually circle back, but hey, here we are. Hopefully this newest arc can really kick in the turbos, because I know pacing is really what brought down my enjoyment of the previous one. I'm enjoying everything Jed MacKay is doing in his Avengers run, I just wish he was doing it a little faster. Overall, I would give this one a 7 out of 10. Perfectly serviceable, enjoyable, just maybe not all that original for what it's worth. Here's hoping the next one will be all of those things, though.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quests. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.